camera around so you can see him and we can just have a little conversation here. Okay. So, hello, Daishan. Thank you for agreeing to come on air and talk to us about your activities and everything.
Yes, sir.
So, for folks who are not familiar with the Black Agenda Agency, could you just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure thing. So my name is Deshaun Jones. I'm a community organizer here in Jacksonville with the Black Agenda Agency. The Black Agenda Agency is a kind of brand new organization. We started out a couple of months ago. We're here in Jacksonville to affect social change with other organizations. Based on everything that's been going on in the news recently, our founder Tavares, he came up with this idea to get an organization, because a lot of the times here with these organizations, they're all competing against each other. We wanted to be the black standard of all organizations here in Jacksonville, so that was part of the reason why he created it today.
And what would you say are some of the main challenges facing the African American, the black community here in Jacksonville?
Where do I start? So I know that the reason you're here today, sorry, I'm trying to put this mask on. I know the reason that you're here today is to discuss my worldview and things of what's going on in the world. But since the reason for your trip today is about the Black Trans Lives Matter rally, I did want to speak on that just a little bit. First, I would like to say that if you're not aware of your culture, you're going to be ignorant of it. So with that being said, I'm gonna discuss homosexuality in the black community. I usually don't speak about gay and lesbian rights, which is why I'm not going to the rally a little bit later. That's all because I'm not on the same political platform as them. And what I mean by that is I fight for my people's culture. I know we have one, and my job every day is to fight for it and to more properly define it. So with that being said, when you look at homosexuality and you look at it, the question of homosexuality is really a question about tolerance. Europe has none of that. If you look throughout the history from the priest to what's going on in Belarus and Chechen, going on in Russia, you'll see the persecution of gays that's happening. You don't see none of that in Africa. And if you do see that, it's only because they were colonialized and those European powers are inside of that country. So to try to bring Europe's problem of intolerance into our communities when we have more than enough problems to deal with, that's just not in my alleyway. So that's all I wanted to discuss about that.
Okay. And how do you see the current state of race relations in Northeast Florida?
America is on the precipice of a race war. A race war is more bloody than a race riot. A riot is contained. A riot is contained to one specific area. A race war, there are no holds barred. Not even children are spared. And it's very unfortunate that we have gotten to this place. You see the President of the United States inflaming people with rhetoric that has these police officers acting in ways that they shouldn't be acting. He came out and said in his first couple of years in office that when you're putting them in the car, you make sure that you hit their head just a little bit. That way they can feel the bruise, or you just rough them up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So by his very own rhetoric, he's inflaming the people inside of this country. When I met you, it was actually at the rally out there in St. Augustine. When I went, I didn't know that those neo-Nazi and Confederates were there. I didn't know that they were going to be taking over the rally. But my reason for going there was simply to organize. I'm an organizer. Those people at the protest, they're mobilizers, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between mobilization and organization, if I could.
Sure.
Okay. Well, when you're mobilized, everybody is against the same thing. When you're organized, everybody is for the same thing. And what you seem to see at these protests is a lot of those people that are mobilized. Our people, black people in this country, we are the most revolutionary instinct group in this nation. Our people rise up at the drop of a hat for anything. Give you an example. Police kill us, we rise up and we sit back down. We rise up and we sit back down. But the difference between a mobilized people and organized people, such as the police, they are an organization. They have the police fraternity, the police union. That's an organization. The people out there, they're mobilized. So when everybody gets down and they sit back down, police don't sit back down. Matter of fact, when I was at the protest, I seen drones. I seen police there looking at people's tags and cars and different things like that. So we have to turn that mobilization that we have at these protests into organization, because we only can be free when we have consciously organized people.
And what are the challenges of trying to organize people with everyone has their the work that they have to go to just to put food on the table? How do you get people to break away from their lives and join you?
Well, it's simple. You see people hitting the streets. You have to have them join an organization. You have to make them conscious of their unconscious behavior, in a sense of these people that get up they get up and go to work every day. Like, I'm in the Black Agenda Agency. We're a social group looking for change here in Jacksonville, but we're kind of weak right now. But I guarantee you that if we had 100,000 black people in this city, but there's more than that in there, but if we had 100,000 black people in this city join our organization, and I mean actually join our organization, not be some card-carrying member or in name only, when we speak, the power structure will listen. So, when you have organization that precedes and goes over that mobilization that these people have, you have to make them realize that this is a fight. Your struggle is everlasting. There is no progress unless there's struggle. Example, if you don't struggle with 2 plus 2 and know that it's 4, you'll never understand that 4 plus 4 or 2 plus 4 equals 8. So you have to put it in terms to where people can really break it down for themselves and decide based on their unconscious behavior that you pointed out, whether they want to join in the fight for the liberation of our people.
And what is your inspiration? How did you get involved in this? What drove you?
I would say what drove me was, first thing I would probably say was the killing of Trayvon back in 2012. That really opened my eyes to different things that were going on in this country. At the time, I was 17 years old, so the situation, it honestly could have been me. But my inspiration is, I was in college down at the University of Florida, and I got my hands on this book called Black Power by Stokely Carmichael. It's the greatest book I have ever read. Everybody of African culture needs to read that book right alongside there with the autobiography of Malcolm X. Everybody should read that book. But in Black Power, Stokely was able to point out some things, also known as Kwame Ture. He was able to point out some things to me that I really agree with, and able to look at the world in a different view.
Okay. And when I met you in St. Augustine, you had a cap or a beret on that said Black Panther Party?
Yes, sir.
What can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. So I'm not a Panther, but my grandfather was a Panther. So I have the patch that he had, and I have the beret that I ordered and just put it on side of there. That thing is a source of pride for me. It's one of those things where you have to be a part of it. A lot of people, when they think about the Black Panthers, they tend to overemphasize the role of the gun that they seen. But it wasn't about that. It was about actually being there for your community. They had a 10-point platform where they lived up to every single one of those things on how to organize the people in your neighborhood and coalesce them around one simple goal. So they had the free breakfast programs, they had the book readings, and that's a little bit of the things that we do here at the Black Agenda Agency as well too. Like, we want to put it out there and put these people in organizations so that they can see that there's a different way. You don't have to go to a protest and after you don't get the outcome that you want, you go sit back down and you just wait for the next one to come up. There's a different way that you can go about it. There's a different way that you can put pressure on the system in a way that can really affect change, and not just fake change either. I mean real change, real substantial change. Because a lot of the times what we do, our people, we get upset and we take these symbols of change without actually getting down to the root. Because you can reform anything that you want. That's part of mobilization too. A lot of mobilized people are reformers. For instance, Dr. King, he was a mobilizer. Malcolm X was an organizer. There's a big difference between that. You can be an organizer and a mobilizer, but you cannot be a mobilizer and an organizer. For instance, when Martin Luther King came and he spoke, he broke down desegregation and he went on about his way. But when Malcolm came to a city, he He spoke and he always left a mosque. So that is the importance. That shows you right there the importance of organization. Malcolm was actually killed in between organizations, and when he left the Nation of Islam, he created 2 organizations. One for the Afro-American unity, and one for anybody that was Muslims that could join that. So that right there shows you the importance of organization.
Okay, and you may know that Donald Trump is debating tonight with Joe Biden.
Yes.
What do you think about the 2 candidates and their stance toward race relations?
There is no stance. When we have the official line of the organization is we're not advocating to vote for anybody, because things won't change unless you really go out and get the system. You have to find a candidate that is a socialist, because that is the only economic system in this world that is fair and just. There's only 2. And the only question that has to be answered when you have 2 economic systems is who will control the means of the production. In a capitalist system, the few control it. In a socialist system, everybody controls it, and they get together and they build a nice country.
So, were you at all, I guess, relieved or happy with the idea that Kamala Harris was put on Joe Biden's ticket?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Black visibility is not black power. So we have to be very aware of that. When you have a black candidate who runs for the office, listen, this system that we live in, this American capitalist system, mandates the action of the individual, not the other way around. So if Kamala Harris was to assume the office of the presidency, black people have to be ready and prepared to fight her, because she is only going to tote the party line, and she's only going to tote the line of protecting the interests of the businessmen and the rich, and that's what the capitalist system is.
Okay. And going back just a second to a point you made about your fear that there could be a race war that could happen, what are the indications that lead you to believe that could happen?
The rhetoric, the things that I've seen inside of St. Augustine, the things that you see going on inside the country, what you see in Portland, what you see in Kenosha, what you see in Atlanta, what you see up in New Jersey right now with that, or is it New York? One of those 2, with that police killing. So those are the things that you can see very, very clearly, and it's a sad thing because it doesn't have to be this way.
Okay. And finally, how do you see the future of the United States? Are you optimistic, pessimistic? What kind of country do you think we'll be living in 10 years?
I'm not optimistic. As Malcolm once said, you can stick a knife 10 inches deep in my back, pull it out 9. You can't call that progress. So I don't think that there's going to be much progress in this country until we actually have someone who's willing to commit to the things that need to be committed to build a more inclusive and a more open and preferably socialist society.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Is there anything that you would like to add that I didn't touch on?
I'd just like to add that it was a pleasure to talk to you today. It really was. And I also like to add that if everybody's out there, if you're watching, just make sure that you join the organization. The need to join the organization supersedes anything. If you don't join the Black Agenda Agency here in Jacksonville, join the Urban League. If you don't join the Urban League, join the Nation of Islam. If you don't join the Nation of Islam, join the NAACP. The need for our people to be in an organization supersedes, and the reason that we are in the condition that we're in is because the enemy has used mobilization to demobilize us, and when you're demobilized, as I said before, you cannot be an organized, you know what I mean? So
I have a question, a couple comments are coming in, and Jacqueline asks, I think she just joined us, and could you say again what the Black Agenda Agency is?
The Black Agenda Agency is a new group. We're here affecting social change here in Jacksonville. We work with other groups to affect lasting, meaningful changes that we hope to see. So we've been working with some groups here. We've worked with the Urban League. We've worked with BPM, which is Building Powerful Minds. We work with a lot of groups here in Jacksonville just to build that camaraderie, because there's a lot of crab in a bucket mentality when you're dealing with organizations. And we want to be that one organization that is a standard here in Jacksonville that can coalesce around different organizations and bring them all together.
And if someone wants to join, do you have a website, or how do they join?
Yes, if you would like to join the Black Agenda Agency, or you would like to know more about it, we hold meetings every Wednesday at Teapot's Naturals. It was actually voted the best vegan restaurant here in Jacksonville recently on News for Jack. So you can get some
What's it
good
called?
food. Teapot's Naturals.
Okay.
Yeah, right here on Main Street, off of 8th Street. Or not Main Street, 8th Street in Davis. I apologize about that. But yeah, and we have a website called theblackAgendaAgency.com. You can also follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Black Agenda Agency Jax. So yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks very much for your time.
Awesome.